My best friend became a big star, and I became her assistant. As for her plan to fuel dating rumors with my ex-boyfriend, well, I say, go for it. But then someone had to go and pound my bedroom door open in the middle of the night. Do I need to be taught how to recognize jealousy? Luck is a complete mystery during university. I was a campus goddess. I had an agreement to sign with a top-tier agency, was dating the school. Heartthrob, my outfit set trends, and I could swing my hips so hard they'd break walking down the street. But after I impulsively punched a powerful producer in the face in public, drawing blood, my good luck vanished abruptly. Meanwhile, my childhood best friend of over 10 years seemed to inherit all my luck, skyrocketing to success from that point on. I was left completely overlooked, watching helplessly as she signed with an agency, landed the lead in a low-budget web drama, and became an overnight sensation. Of course, thankfully, she never forgot her bestie after I graduated and couldn't find a job, starting to plan a life of instant noodles and sleeping in a basement. She didn't hesitate to have all my belongings moved into her luxurious penthouse. Darling, if I have a bite of meat, you won't just get the broth. But my beautiful best friend has one fatal flaw: she's not the sharpest tool in the shed. So, I became her personal assistant, practically responsible for her every need 24/7, even teaching her how to speak and act. Thinking back on those early days, it's a miracle we managed, one daring to teach, the other daring to learn. Although the workload wasn't light, I comfortably enjoyed the high salary and benefits, living the high life with Tiana. Life was incredibly smooth and easy until I heard her. New drama co-star was Ethan, the boyfriend I dumped for being too handsome and giving off insecure vibes. Don't worry about me. That chapter is long closed, I said, being completely honest, as I'm quite thick-skinned. However, on the first day of filming, when the male lead, radiating star power, accidentally glanced my way, his instantly darkening expression made my heart sink. May, you really don't look like you've moved on at all. That night, after tossing and turning, unable to sleep, I finally mustered the courage and tremblingly clicked on an interview of Ethan's. I promptly ranked it among the top 3 worst decisions of my life on screen. He was as disgustingly handsome as ever, making my stomach twist under eyebrow sketch like folding strokes. His eyes were deep and bright, possessing a maturity beyond his years. His thin lips held a trace of an amiable smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. This face had won public votes by a landslide, leaving the runner-up in the dust. I'd once sourly told Tiana the data must be bought, but that didn't stop me from secretly agreeing with the description. A masterpiece meticulously sculpted after Nuwa and Prometheus deliberated for 3 days and 3 nights. Right now, wearing a polite, slight smile, he answered interview questions with impeccable professionalism, looking seasoned and practiced. Until he was asked, how do you deal with someone who hurt you in the past? He first lowered his gaze, then seemed to let out a cold laugh, suddenly looking up, his eyes meeting mine through the screen, and said, word by word, of course I forgive them. The comments section exploded with trolls, everyone saying he'd definitely grind the other person into the dust until their own mother wouldn't recognize them. Scrolling through the comments, 99 Ways to Die After Crossing Ethan was highly upvoted. That night, I had a nightmare in my dream. Ethan hung me from the tree where we used to have dates, and I was begging for mercy while he smiled gleefully. The next day, as soon as I arrived on set, I received bubble tea that Ethan's assistant, Finn, was personally handing out to every crew member. Seeing the familiar handwriting on a sticky note on the cup, to Leah, I gulped. He didn't poison it, did he? What's wrong, don't you like it? Finn smiled kindly, eerily similar to his boss during interviews. I forced a smile, holding back tears. I like it. I do. Have a taste. He delivered to everyone else and left immediately. So why was I getting such special treatment? I frowned, trying to maintain a dignified smile. My stomach's a bit upset. I'll have it later. A flicker of guilt passed over Finn's face, his eyes starting slightly. He glanced behind him, then leaned closer, lowering his voice. Boss's orders. I have to watch and drink it. Do me a favor, or I can't report back. Looking past him towards a figure not far away, the male lead, dressed in white, stood tall and graceful under a prop peach blossom tree, looking like a painting. If you could ignore the triumphant glint in his eyes, such a jarring scene was truly a pity to witness. I didn't know whether to blame the heavens for giving such a devastatingly handsome exterior, the rotten core of a scheming bastard, or to be thankful God didn't close all windows for this old fox. I gave Finn a resentful look, then honestly took a big sip, thinking he might just be bluffing and wouldn't actually pull any childish pranks. Then I choked on the sickeningly salty bubble tea and couldn't help but spray it all over Finn. All the love and time we shared over the years, truly wasted. As a kid, I was obsessed with Meteor Garden and was utterly captivated by the Demonja type boys. Growing up, I became disdainful, thinking such sundered types only existed in brainless Mary Sue novels. Then Ethan appeared, slapping my judgment squarely in the face with his actions. Except, back then, I wasn't a Shankai. I was more like Bai Wei. I was like a proud flamingo, slaying everywhere I went with my long legs. The epitome of arrogant and aloof, and Ethan, despite having a gentle-sounding second male lead name, was genuinely a German Shepherd, in other words, a born hunting dog, even more interested in elusive prey like me. Add to that the fact that power couple dynamics, were hugely popular. So even when we were just acquaintances, fanfiction about us was already circulating widely across campus. During a break while we were hosting an event together, both of us secretly sizing each other up while rehearsing lines, he suddenly looked up, nearly closed his folder, raised an eyebrow at me, and said, "Leah, do I still need to chase you?" As a hardcore face appreciator who had long been drooling over his disastrously handsome face, my heartbeat went haywire. But I still feigned composure, cleared my throat, and looked back at him. "We still have to follow the process." The corner of his mouth twitched. He casually took a rose from the arms of a passing prog crew member and placed it on the folder in my hand, then nodded slightly, lowered his gaze with an and turned to leave, appearing utterly aloof. Then, just a week later, photos of us holding hands on a stroll flooded the campus gossip social media accounts. It wasn't until later, when he signed with an agency, that a dedicated PR team cleaned up all those so-called Black History posts. As for now, he's a blazing star among the new generation of actors. Squashing a mere assistant like me would be effortless. I seriously suspect my future survival depends entirely on Tiana's charity. But my dear best friend, her mind is wholly occupied with making sure I'm not jealous. "Leah, don't worry, our kiss scenes will definitely be faked. I'd rather die than actually do it." She grabbed my shoulders and shook me violently. Dizzy and disoriented, I had to raise my hands to stop her, rubbing my temples in utter exasperation. "It's fine, you should kiss if you need to, Tiana. You still need to have basic professional integrity as an actress." Ethan, who had seemingly appeared out of nowhere, strolled past casually, hands in pockets, headphones on, and even shot me a sit-along glance. Besides, why bother being considerate of someone who abandoned others without a second thought? Is that how you use abandoned without a second thought? Why does it sound strangely like a resentful, jilted lover, harboring this rather sneaky thought? I stole a glance at him, but was immediately forced back by a gaze sharp as a blade. But even without this irrelevant person meddling, and regardless of Tiana's own opinion, Ethan's company raised an objection first. A sweet romance drama, and you want to cut the vast majority of the kiss scenes? The screenwriter's expression upon hearing this arrangement is something I'll never forget. Ethan's agent shrugged. "No choice. Recent censorship is strict. Plus online public opinion is heavily against artificial sweetener." Our team was utterly disappointed, gathering in a corner of the set to lament. Seeing Tiana also seemed a bit down, I guessed it might be related. So, when no one was looking, I quietly pulled her aside, into a corner. "It's not a total loss, not a total loss. Ethan's kissing technique is terrible." I was essentially just making up a reason to comfort her. The truth was, when we dated, we barely even held hands. So I actually had no idea what Ethan's skills were like. Thankfully, this lame excuse worked. Tiana's eyes lit up instantly, and she grabbed my hands tightly. Although I was worrying about something else just now, to go on. She was so enthusiastic, I didn't have the heart to disappoint. So I continued spouting nonsense. "Ever heard of a silver like Peter Spearhead? That's him. Who knew I had such a talent for storytelling?" I got carried away, vividly painting Ethan as all show and no substance. My best friend ate it up, delighted to learn the rising star's unspeakable little secret. We were both so immersed in our heated gossip session that we paid no attention to people coming and going. When my tall tale finally paused, she glanced down at her phone screen casually, and her face immediately fell. Watching her slap her forehead in despair, I knew something was terribly wrong. A glance at her screen, call in progress, plunged my entire world into darkness. "Mia, you promised you wouldn't tell anyone. Please, please, please." Somehow, no matter how much Tiana begged her agent to swear secrecy, I had a very bad feeling. Sure enough, 3 days later, half the people of the studio looked at Ethan with a hint of strangeness in their eyes. Sensing something was about to happen, I did everything possible to avoid anyone and anything related to Ethan's company, just trying to stay alive. But God proved to me once again that although my luck was terrible now, my premonitions were scarily accurate. During a night shoot, an actor got injured, a small cut on their finger, and someone needed to be sent to buy plasters. Since everyone else was busy, an assistant director randomly pointed at me to run the errand. The film studio after dark held an eerie atmosphere for me. Broken walls, ancient-style pavilions, and even aged sets used for horror films were tinged with a mysterious air by the night, paired with a damp, bone-chilling breeze perfect for scaring people. Trembling, I used my phone's flashlight to walk towards a convenience store 2 kilometers away, constantly reassuring myself with materialism. But I couldn't shake the feeling of creepy chills. Suddenly, a white figure flashed a few steps ahead. I was scared out of my wits, screamed, turned, and ran, only to bump into something. My legs giving way, nearly falling. Just as I was about to make intimate contact with the ground, a hand grabbed a handful of fabric on my bag, lifting me half suspended, barely saving me from a fall. I was about to thank this bizarrely heroic savior when a familiar voice, laced with suppressed anger, drifted ominously from behind. "My kissing technique is terrible, yikes. I'd rather have met a ghost than be caught by him." So, panicked, I closed my eyes, hardened my heart, and struggled forward with all my might. Reap a crisp tearing sound, and my back felt instantly cold and wet. A large piece of my clothing had been torn off. In In this situation, 3 parts awkward, 3 parts shy, 4 parts bizarre, my brain very timely blue-screened. I stood frozen like a deer in headlights until the chilly sensation on my back registered. Then I dumbly turned around to face Ethan, who was holding a piece of torn fabric. And wearing that expensive white costume, we stared at each other. Why-I. He clearly hadn't expected this either. His handsome brows furrowed, a vein twitching on his forehead, his mouth twitching slightly. You, after hesitating for what felt like ages. He managed that one word, gave me a complicated look, and swiftly took off his intricately embroidered, gorgeous costume and threw it at me like a pervert, clutching the inexplicable bundle of clothes. My back still feeling the breeze. I watched as the 185 centimeters tall, shirtless figure gradually faded into the night. Only one thought circled endlessly in my mind. The world is so absurd. Where does someone as humble as me go from here? Early the next morning, still confused, I received a text. No male lead scenes today. The actor came down with a mysterious cold. Although Mr. Ethan claimed a cold doesn't affect work, his abnormal temperature meant he was forced to stay home for observation for 3 days. To make matters worse, his assistant Finn's residential compound reported a positive case. So he was also quarantined at home. So, Ethan, alone at home, claiming to have terrible life skills, can't cook, can't order takeaway, lost his right-hand man, and was suddenly helpless, destined to starve at home. But who could have guessed he'd specifically request me to deliver food? This isn't appropriate, is it? Faced with this bizarre arrangement, I was dumbfounded. Are male actors aiming for this serious career path these days as reckless? Ethan and Tiana aren't from the same company. Their agents are just good friends, so they consult on many matters. Our young master insists Quinn always spoils him like a little ancestor, indulging him in every small thing. This counts as a small thing. Unidentified woman enters famous male star's residence. That's prime tabloid headline material. Forget that this Quinn is a famously renowned agent in the industry. Even someone with a bit more sense probably wouldn't agree to such nonsense, right? Just delivering a meal. Don't overthink it. Celebrity assistants or a dime a dozen. What kind of news is that? The girl who assigned me this task dropped that line and hurried off, head down. Quickly texting done. Helpless, I picked up the delicate lunchbox and entered the address I received on my phone. But strange things kept happening. Looking closely, I realized Ethan had somehow ended up living in the same complex as Tiana. Less than 100 meters away in a straight line. Although Orchid Haven is famously popular among high earners for its top-tier property management and excellent security, such a coincidence in this vast world was still staggering. Driven by professionalism and a nothing ventured, nothing gained attitude, I mustered my courage, rushed to his building, steadied myself, took a deep breath and entered the passcode. Although I'd mentally prepared myself, the sight of the robe, carelessly opened at the collar when the door opened still made me stumble. I grabbed the door frame, my face flushing completely. Leah, please improve your professionalism. Someone took the lunchbox from me expressionlessly, turned and went inside, leaving the door wide open. I stood there, unsure whether to leave or close the door. Are you waiting for paparazzi by not coming in? His voice came from inside. I scratched my head, bewildered. My original plan was to drop it and run. But this guy lets an outsider assistant just waltz into his home like that? How recklessly trusting is he? Just then, the tantalizing aroma of food wafted from inside, drifting straight into my nostrils. I thought you couldn't cook, had no groceries, no kitchen. I sat awkwardly on the sofa, sneaking a quick look around the decor, while Ethan was back in the kitchen, and couldn't help but frown. Theoretically, for a young, newly famous upstart like him, hiring someone to design his interior shouldn't be difficult. Maybe even getting some famous name to advise. So, what's with all these oddly detailed touches everywhere? Is it the demise of humanity or the decay of morality? Beige fabric curtains with a layer of thin, light white sheer curtains underneath, trimmed with lace, a nearly wall-sized floor-to-ceiling window with blooming Recaren-colored flowers nearby, a red and white checkered tablecloth adorned with exquisite, clearly expensive ceramic figurines, a stylish little glass bowl with a motionless goldfish and adorned with lush, lovely aquatic plants. The room was full of details and thoughtful touches, giving off a vibe of light French romance. The only thing that didn't fit its owner was a 23-year-old ironclad straight guy, who loved researching racing cars and extreme sports. I cautiously reached out and touched the European-style upholstered sofa with its lace trim, wondering if my stereotypes were too ingrained, or if Ethan was just ahead of time, and had uniquely individual taste. Any problem? Ethan was wearing a pastel yellow polka dot apron with a little white bunny on it. He placed a plate of steak, smelling richly of butter, with asparagus and broccoli, in front of me. His cold, stern expression clashed starkly with the overwhelmingly girly surroundings. I hurriedly shook my head vigorously, so hard I saw stars when I stopped. The corner of his eyebrow twitched upwards. He gave a cold laugh and said nothing. Looks like those 6 months of dating were basically a waste. My understanding of this guy is truly worrying. Ignoring me standing there awkwardly, and the atmosphere cold enough to freeze, he focused on cutting the steak on his own plate, maintaining a stony silence the whole time, as if someone owed him millions. I opened my mouth, trying to find a topic, but one look at his poker face made me swallow my words. I sheepishly reached for the knife and fork. The steak was tender, the sauce fragrant, the atmosphere awkward, and I was helpless. The room was so quiet you could probably hear the goldfish breathing. We remained deadlocked like that for a good 20 minutes. Just as I stole a glance at my watch and silently complained about how slowly time was passing, the ice sculpture next to me coughed, startling me. My fork, laden with black pepper sauce, fell onto the pure white wool carpet, immediately leaving a dark brown stain. Ethan didn't pay attention to the stain but frowned. Leah, are you stupid? Doesn't my flat look like it was decorated by a girl? My already slow brain raced, unsure what this big star was getting at by mentioning this to a mere extra like me. After filtering out 100 different responses, I chose the most diplomatic one, offering a proper, dignified smile and nod. No wonder it's so beautiful, Ethan, who had seemingly been drinking water to feign composure, choked on my words. Being a naturally considerate person, I instinctively reached out to pat his back but froze mid-action. Once he finally calmed down, he put the glass down with a loud thud, his handsome face, serious the whole time, frowned even tighter, his jawline tense. I could almost hear his teeth grinding. Brilliant! After saying that, he stood up, grabbed me by the scruff of my neck, and pushed me out. Before closing the door, the idiot threw out one last line. The carpet cost £2,580. You have 1 month. Before I could retort, the door shut in my face. You're insane. During my studies and after graduation, I've been fortunate enough to work on numerous film sets in various capacities, from big-budget movies to cheaply made web dramas, but never in any crew. Have I had such a bizarre experience? Everyone from the director to Zane, who handles the lunchboxes, now knows the male lead has it in for the female lead's assistant. Considering Ethan is currently the blazing star his company is pouring resources into, and I'm a nobody newcomer, the absurdity of this is akin to the crown prince deliberately picking on a tea-serving eunuch in ancient times. I first noticed this starting with the people around Ethan, from his assistant Ben, Agent Quinn, secretary, and driver, even his nutritionist. Everyone looked at me with an indescribable strangeness. Their eyes held 3 parts worry, 3 parts pity, and 4 parts schadenfreude, like watching a clam slowly boiling in warm water. The reason it is a clam, and not a frog, is because I don't even have the ability to struggle. But when it came to the methods the crown prince used to target an extra like me, they became increasingly laughable. When I walked past him resting, he'd stick out a leg to trip me without looking up, then immediately play innocent, head down on his phone on hot days when handing out chocolate ice cream to the crew. Mine alone had the words wasabi flavor clearly written on the wrapper. Or my takeaway, noted with extra coriander, would be stuffed with 2/3 parsley, with an additional half a kilo piled on the lid, root still caked in soil. And the reason I decisively ruled out the merchant being incompetent was that after each of these incidents, there was Ethan, eyes sparkling with inexplicable excitement, and Finn's evasive gaze. While these farces unfolded, the rest of the crew didn't kick me while I was down like in some cliche idol drama, but they unanimously chose to remain silent and keep their distance. When I finally managed to grab an unfamiliar girl and ask why, she blushed instantly, glanced around, and timidly replied, "We think you're playing elementary school games." Thought it's a bit intellectually degrading. I nearly coughed up blood. Of course, not everyone chose to stand by knowingly. The only person in the entire crew completely unaware of my being pranked was my chick with best friend. The reasons were simple. First, she's dumped out. Second, she has her own troubles. A few days ago, paparazzi posted candid shots of her filming on set on Weibo, and Tiana Gaines' weight immediately trended. The comments were overwhelmingly critical of her lack of figure management, clearly a manipulated public opinion. This beauty, who had actually only gained pounds, has an unusually sensitive and fragile heart. The day after trending, she immediately resolved to join the spring-summer workout craze to lose weight and started a live stream for self-supervision. It's just a pity her brain is truly decorative. This little ancestor insisted on working out on set, where it's crowded with people and props, and got so into it she swung her hand and slammed it hard against a nearby crooked neck tree, dislocating her wrist. Thus, Tiana hits tree while working out became the new hot surge. Even though her injury wasn't serious, filming with a bandage was simply not acceptable. My assistant is about my size, and our figures and even our backs are similar. Why not let her stand in for me for blocking? Once Tiana uttered these words, the surroundings fell silent. Although my public identity is just an unknown assistant, some people on set inevitably knew about my being shelved. It's just for blocking. It won't delay the schedule, and renting the studio for a day is quite expensive, you know. So, one second I was an assistant occasionally helping carry camera equipment, the next, I was handed the female lead's exquisitely crafted costume. Maybe I was hallucinating in my dazed state, but I thought I saw Tiana wink at me. But when I saw the script, my heart, which had been faintly hopeful, sank heavily. Good heavens. Are you kidding me? The scenes to be filmed these next few days happen to be the high sweetness, sugar rush moments between the male and female leads when their feelings peak, including the drama's only kiss scene, A vein twitched on my forehead. I looked up, my features stiff, and just happened to catch a glimpse of a certain male lead not far away, frowning as he reviewed his colorfully annotated script, as if sensing my gaze. He snapped the script shut, gave me a look of 100% pure dislike, then heaved a heavy sigh, as if making a decision. That goes against the ancestors. An assistant is an assistant, I suppose. I'll just consider it a sacrificing for art. During Tiana's recovery period, my weight loss efficiency surpassed hers by several times. The reason was obvious. Being an assistant and the female lead stand-in was exhausting enough. On top of that, a certain bastard very thoughtfully reminded me, "Don't forget you still owe me 2,580 pounds. I nearly cursed out loud. He even more thoughtfully proposed the fastest way to repay by also working as his personal assistant. No helping it, my studio is famous for its excellent salary and benefits. I'm just that generous and straightforward. Out of the corner of my eye, I sensed a resentful gaze. I slowly turned my head and made eye contact with Finn, who was standing slightly behind and to the side of Ethan. Ethan noticed my change in expression, turned and raised an eyebrow at him. "Not firing you." Only then did Finn relax, pursed his lips slightly, and lowered his head a bit. For some reason, seeing his somewhat shy smile, I always felt something was a bit off. So, in the following days, the set occasionally witnessed a strange scene. A figure dressed in plain white gauze, ethereal as a fairy, flitted about like a ghost, moving so fast she was a blur. In her hands were takeaway boxes, small fans, parasols, sometimes a pink hairband, other times messy electronic devices. She was sweaty, her expression fierce, muttering under her breath, "Just wait until I make it big one day. I'll punch you so hard you can't find the teeth." But since the target of this hymn was unspecified, no one could pin anything on her. Only one person, lounging comfortably on a deck chair she personally set up, would chuckle lightly. But no matter how much I hold a grudge against Ethan for his deliberate, I still have to put on a shy and timid look in today's and be affectionate with him. In front of the camera, the director had some objections to this. The reason was obvious. Before filming started, the two of us were always glaring at each other, looking like mortal enemies. The moment cut was called, our loving expressions would instantly drop, sometimes accompanied by an eye roll. After one particularly stiff interaction, the director pulled us aside, looking serious. Her thin lips pressed together. She looked at us for a few seconds without speaking, making me acutely aware of her concern. I don't have the energy to meddle in whatever games you youngsters are playing. But on my set, don't bring personal grudges into your roles. Seeing we only seemed partially understanding, she sighed slightly and reiterated sternly. Acting is a profession that requires both talent and hard work. Belief isn't just a saying for good actors. Before leaving, she patted my shoulder and gave me a deep look. "Especially you. You should understand the importance of this opportunity better than I do." After the director left, Ethan and I instinctively turned to look at each other, seeing confusion in each other's eyes. We also vaguely reached a consensus: book grievances aside for now. Focus on work. He lowered his gaze, then, as if with the greatest reluctance, looked somewhere else and extended his hand towards me. A true signal. I found his mismatched expression and action amusing, struggled to hold back a laugh, and shook his hand lightly. And so, the two people who were at each other's throats the day before began an extremely clumsy bonding. Training the next day. This is usually an important part of the filming process to make romantic scenes flow more smoothly. The acting partners should increase interaction off camera to deepen their rapport. Naturally, it's also why many people extend their feelings beyond the script, officially announcing relationships after a few collaborations. Since I was just a temporary stand-in for the female lead, I originally couldn't quite figure out why this arrangement still applied to me, until I accidentally saw Tiana vigorously arguing with one of the producers. Leah and I live together. We've been best friends for years. Even our periods are synced. We have a psychic connection. So, as long as she can experience it, it'll be a huge help for my performance. She was gesticulating wildly, spitting as she spoke, eyes sparkling, face flushed with excitement, until even the typically stern, iron-faced old man couldn't withstand her coax, gave in, and vaguely agreed to her request. Seeing Tiana give me that same little knowing look as before, I felt inexplicably guilty. Wasn't her going all out to pay the way for me persisted as she hoped I could get a chance to make a comeback? I secretly clenched my fist. I won't let her efforts down. Ethan also seemed to have had an epiphany overnight, becoming exceptionally cooperative the next day. Tiana had her period. During a break, I ran to make her brown sugar water but accidentally scalded my hand. Careful. Someone appeared beside me, grabbing my hand, then seeming to realize his movement was too abrupt, slowed and gentled his touch, carefully lifting my hand and stroking the fingertips. I was startled, instinctively tried to pull my hand back, but froze into an ice sculpture when I looked up and saw it was Ethan. He looked down, gently blowing on my fingers over and over, handling them as carefully as if they were priceless art. "Let me handle these things from now on. I'd feel terrible if you got hurt." I instantly felt a current run from my fingertips spreading throughout my body, making my limbs go weak for a moment. In all fairness, having a godlike sculpture like this standing in front of you is enough to make anyone's heart flutter, let alone when he's softly speaking sweet nothings. Mam. So it's definitely not just my problem right now. But after hearing his previous sarcasm and digs at this moment, I felt nothing but extreme discomfort. His face darkened, but only for a brief moment before switching back to the deep, affectionate look of a second male lead from an idol drama. He lowered his head slightly and said, word by word, in a voice only we could hear, play along. Although I was exhausted from working all day and staying up late memorizing lines, honestly, I felt immensely satisfied inside, and even slept more soundly. Because, as the director said, I understood the importance of this opportunity better than anyone if I performed well enough. By some chance, I might have a possibility of making a comeback. So, my mental state these days was better than ever. In Ethan's weirdly phrased words, it was like you've been possessed by a weasel spirit. Fortunately, the director also seemed satisfied with my performance. The usually stern woman curved the corners of her mouth, gave an almost imperceptible nod while watching the monitor, and her typically tight jawline relaxed slightly. Keep it up. As she stood up to get water, her lightly dropped words instantly boosted my morale. As for my Ethan, he also bestowed some mercy upon his lowly servant, temporarily relieving me of chores like fetching packages, takeaway, and serving tea, leaving only the task of taking and editing photos for him. Of course, since most of the work content has been removed, the salary treatment naturally needs appropriate adjustment. My jaw hit the floor. At the current rate, he lowered his head, pretentiously counting on his fingers, then looked up at a 45-degree angle, a smile betraying his pride. You only need to work for me for another 34 months to pay it off. Then, he added extremely annoyingly with a glance, happy, right? If my professional ethics weren't strong enough, I'd want to throw the coffee in my hand in his face, but I just forced a smile, nodded, and placed the cup beside him. I hope you go bald by 30. With that, I flicked my water sleeves and strode away dramatically, as natural and unrestrained as in the scene where the drama's leads part ways. Don't forget what's happening today. I stopped in my tracks. That kiss scene I'd been dreading for so long. I turned around dumbly. Ethan was, as usual, head down, script in hand, memorizing lines, his expression unusually calm, just like something abnormal must be caused by something evil. When a usually troublesome guy suddenly becomes serious and proper, it also feels abnormal. He thoughtfully rubbed his chin, gazing into the distance as he said leisurely, certain people with ulterior motives previously disregarded facts and spouted nonsense. Today, this young master has shown great mercy, giving you a chance to verify. Verify what? I frowned, didn't have time to retort, when a lightning bolt struck my mind and I shuddered. Kissing technique bad? Once that thought emerged, the way I looked at Ethan changed. You even hold a grudge over this? Really? You went to all that trouble? Places in 10 minutes, male and female leads. Ethan slowly closed his script, simultaneously giving me a deep look. I straightened my back defiantly and glared back. Fine, looking forward to it. This scene was expected to be a highlight of the drama, the climax where the corny rains down. Female lead, knowing she's dying soon, painfully leaves with her secret. But the male lead finds out at this critical moment, realizing the truth. His heart feels like it's being sliced, and he vows to make her stay. At the peak of their argument, it concludes with a male lead domineering while slamming her, and them embracing in a kiss. I'm going to be sick. Tiana's role is a sweet, pet-type innocent anyway, so fine. But Ethan kept saying he wanted to be a serious actor. Why is he accepting this cliché plot that was overdone 5,000 years ago? I thought that, feeling so uncomfortable, acting on such a scene would be awkward for me everywhere. Unexpectedly, once the camera rolled and the BGM started, I lowered my head and got into the mood, especially when I turned and met Ethan's tender, affectionate eyes. Besides the lines I'd memorized long ago, only one thought remained stuck in my head, asterisk, hurry up and kiss me already, this definitely isn't just my problem. Faced with someone that's so handsome, even if it's my dog ex-boyfriend, I still can't control myself. I'm just making a mistake all women in the world would make. The emotions built to a climax. Ethan's peach blossom eyes also held a hint of tears. Finally reaching the planned kiss scene, he pulled my wrist, I spun around naturally, and landed in his arms. The two looked at each other with deep affection. A tear rolled down the corner of my eye, and those clearly soft, warm lips slowly approached, cut. Ethan looked up, baffled, and let go of my hand, sending me straight into intimate contact with the ground. What was coming had finally come now. Grimacing, I stood up and saw the director staring seriously at the monitor, not saying a word. Everyone around held their breath, clearly not an ideal atmosphere. Did I do something wrong? Full of confusion, I walked over and stood behind the director. Honestly, whether it was emotion, lines, expression, or movement, there were basically no flaws to pick, especially Ethan's eyes, as gentle as if it could drip water. So what was the problem? I stared at the screen for a long time, hesitated, then tentatively spoke up. Director, I think there might be an issue with the shooting technique. The gazes of everyone around instantly converged on me. The director, as usual, frowned. Go on. It might be better to use a long shot here. Instead of a close-up, have camera 3 slowly pushing while the lighting gradually brightens. Focusing here. At first, I was just trying to suggest, but I got carried away, pointing at the monitor screen. talk endlessly about camera movement, music, composition, lighting. When I finally stopped, I realized everyone was staring at me. The director touched the tip of her nose, put her headphones back on, adjusted her seat. Do as she said. Again. I hurriedly fixed my makeup and hair and got into position. My eyes accidentally met Ethan's. He raised an eyebrow. When did you get the skill? Mate, my first choice was the directing department. I pursed my lips, couldn't be bothered to engage with him further. Raised my hand to adjust the stray hairs on my forehead, but couldn't get them right, accidentally pulling out a hairpin instead. I know. Ethan bent down, picked up the hairpin from the ground, gently brushed aside my reaching hand, and inserted it into my bun, then reached up to tidy my fringe. The pad of his index finger accidentally brushed against my forehead, bringing a slight, ticklish shiver. I suddenly felt somewhat disconcerted, quickly turned my head away to hide the blush on my cheeks. The earlier throb hadn't yet calmed. The ripples in my heart were still disturbed, making me a bit less composed this time. My eyes couldn't help but wander, but since the director didn't call cut, I had to endure it strongly. Only when I met Ethan's affectionate gaze did I feel my heart pounding like a drum. His lips approached inch by inch again. I instinctively closed my eyes. Cut. Good. But unlike the immediate stop last time, this time, perhaps due to momentum, he leaned forward slightly. I felt a faint touch of my lips, like a feather brushing past, subtle yet leaving a mark on my heart that was hard to ignore. Maybe because he wasn't fully out of character yet. His gaze lingered for a brief moment, still carrying that blazing intensity, making my cheeks burn even hotter. TSK, impressive. Hearing the voice, I snapped out of my daze, pushed Ethan away, and looked towards the sound. Tiana's arm brace was off. She was now happily munching on a bag of cucumber-flavored crisps. Grandma, aren't you dieting? I worked out for half an hour today. A high-calorie snack is what I deserve. She sucked her fingers, don't care. Honestly, with all this overflowing pink bubble vibe, you might as well just start rumors about you too. What? I thought I misheard, right? We're wrapping up soon. Mia and Quinn were discussing this yesterday. How else do you think we get heat? Tiana shook the remaining crumbs into her mouth and glanced casually at the crisp packet. One serving is less than 200 calories. I'll just skip dinner tonight. I was still a bit dazed. While she looked down, I glanced at Ethan not far away, my mind still blank, answering woodenly, Sis, look closely at how many grams one serving is. Bloody hell! Her scream startled a prop guy nearby, making him fall flat on his back. I came to my senses and helped clean up the mess, but my thoughts drifted back to a certain someone nearby. Aster's best friend and ex-boyfriend fueling rumors. Damn, that's intense. After cleaning up, I patted Tiana's shoulder solemnly. Her whole face felt grievance. Good luck. If you don't understand anything, just ask me. She tilted her head. Took over 10 seconds to process what I meant, then burped. Leah, are you an idiot? The large-scale historical romance fantasy political drama The Legend of Heshi officially wrapped filming and entered post-production. The rumor plan for the two leads was also officially put on the agenda. What about me? Answer. Front row spectator, during a joint entertainment interview. According to the script, Tiana was supposed to make meaningful eye contact, then shyly look away. But not only did she keep forgetting her lines, her gaze when looking at Ethan was as hollow as a blind person's. And when the reporter threw out the bombshell, living in the same complex, which was done. The script, meant to capture their natural reaction, Tiana looked utterly clueless. While Ethan lowered his head, coughed uncomfortably, his expression like a schoolboy caught misbehaving. The program team also deliberately arranged a segment where they had to feed each other Pocky stick style. Upon hearing this plan, Tiana's facial expression instantly stiffened, her lips turned pale, and she tremblingly grabbed my hand. WH, what did they say we have to do? Pretend to be ambiguity. Ethan was wearing a charcoal black shirt, the top button undone slightly, revealing his neck, making him look like a proud swan. He still had that I'm the best in the world attitude. Picked up a coffee cup nearby, gave me an indifferent glance, and elegantly took a big sip. Noticing their positioning, I had a bad feeling. Tiana, careful, PFFT, but I was too slow. Ethan, in front of everyone, spat coffee all over Tiana. Her pristine little white dress was instantly ruined. I could just kill myself. Tiana, I'm so sorry. I quickly pulled her into the restroom, trying to salvage the dress with alcohol wipes. But she, who had been stunned moments before, looked in the mirror and gave a mysterious smile. Leah, thank you. Seeing her squinting, weird smile, I felt a current run down my spine. Damn, pretending for so long is exhausting. Finally, I can rest. She tilted her head, massaging her own neck. Leah, remember to buy a massage chair for home, the most expensive one. I finally breathed a sigh of relief. What about the interview? Her eyes darted around, then suddenly fixed. Watch me. Sorry, everyone, for delaying the progress. It's all my fault. I'm really not in good form today. Ella just quickly. Sister Zhao bat her watery big eyes again, piteously sniffled and turned back into the little white rabbit, as if the earlier profanity had nothing to do with her. Murdochu, my apologies. I don't know if Ethan ate something wrong today. first, he made a fool of himself in public, then caused delays, but he seemed to be in an exceptionally good mood. He even smiled politely, looking so harmless it made me dizzy for a second. Judging by the reactions of the female colleagues around, I wasn't the only one. However, when his eyes landed on me, a flicker of cunning appeared. Why not do it like before? You step in, Tiana blurted out. How did you know I wanted? She quickly covered her mouth. Clearly, I was the one who initially wanted to prank Ethan. But this time, I was the one left utterly confused, full of doubt. As I passed by the coffee cup Ethan had casually placed aside, I caught a whiff of a very pungent smell. Hesitantly, I picked up the cup and smelled it. My features instantly contorted, probably looking quite spectacular. I accidentally used garlic salt instead of regular salt. Wait, that's not right. That means the coffee had a strong, pungent garlic smell. How could Ethan, with his keen senses, not have noticed? Looking at him chatting and laughing with colleagues not far away, I felt increasingly uneasy. Did he lose his sense of smell? From the cold, puzzled, I was pulled by staff to go through that process, preoccupied. I nearly walked into a doorframe, not noticing a certain someone pretending to chat while secretly smiling. Miss Leah, I've evaluated your performance on set. Frankly, with your qualifications and talent, being Tiana's assistant is a waste. You could definitely use this as a springboard for greater achievements. Reading this text, I experienced for the first time what it means to feel plunged into an abyss, falling into an ice cellar. Even though no one was around, I instinctively looked back to see if anyone noticed my strangeness. Relieved everyone was busy with their own tasks, I relaxed. But when my finger hovered over the add to blacklist button, I hesitated as if guided by ghosts and spirits. Gathering intelligence on the enemy is good too, right? Comforting myself this way, I quickly replied, "Who is this?" The other party didn't explain, but directly sent a WeChat ID. While I hesitated, someone slapped my shoulder heavily from behind, making me scream. "What are you feeling guilty about?" Ethan glanced at me surprisingly, tilted his head pretending to look at my phone. Still in a state of shock, I quickly hid my phone behind my back, spit it out, blushing. The guy in front observed my embarrassment with great interest, even giving me a rare smile. Must have eaten the wrong medicine again. He lightly flicked my forehead, bent down to meet my eyes. Remember what day it is today? I looked down at my calendar. Lunar April 18th, auspicious for alliances, betrothals, meeting friends, and auspicious for funerals. Shut up. He looked at me with deep regret and painfully closed his eyes and rubbed his temples as if I'd angered him. But he didn't give me the answer, just shook his head and walked away, leaving me standing there bewildered. If this were a comic, there'd definitely be smoke coming out of his head from the back view. Tasked with running through the program process for Miss Zhao, I thought it would just be a walkabout. Who would have thought this supposedly busy celebrity would be so enthusiastic, insisting on highly restored, dragging me through each segment to experience it. For the next half day, I was tortured to death by this dog, while also receiving no less than 20 envious, jealous looks from female staff. What are you staying so far for? Will I eat you? What's wrong with this segment? Will you die if you rest your head on my shoulder for a second? Finally, when the fury in my heart was about to make me flip the table, and I'd filtered out most of the program team's original arrangements, Tiana happily took over herself. Where were you hiding earlier? Feeling suppressed anger even though I lowered my voice. I was a bit impatient. Learning English, she blinked, showing me an app on her phone. My next role as an overseas returnee. I took a deep breath, nodded, and led her back to the sofa. After a short break, armed with my little nose, she performed flawlessly this time, and I finally got a chance to catch my breath. Watching on my phone from the side, I suddenly remembered the earlier text. After an internal struggle, I sent the friend request. That night, at the cruise wrap party, the lively Tiana had a bit too much to drink, raised her glass, and insisted on becoming sworn siblings with the director. If I hadn't stopped her, who knows what trouble might have ensued. After the describing a scene of chaos and commotion finally ended, the crew members gathered, their things in twos and threes, preparing to head back. As I supported the drunk Tiana to the hotel entrance, her agent, Mia, stopped me. "You live with Tiana?" I nodded. "Don't go back tonight. Find somewhere else to stay." Though confused, it was the boss's order. I nodded, dumbfounded. She spoke into her phone. "Have Leah send you the address? I've already arranged for the reporters. But tell Ethan to wear a mask." What, my mind buzzed, I quickly grabbed Mia's arm. "Mia, what are you planning? That rumor thing, get a few blurry photos. Like being alone together late at night or something." I didn't hear the rest. My mind was a cacophony of noise with Tiana's drinking habits. She was already blackout drunk. Ethan wouldn't take advantage, but he'd been drinking to double quotes though. "You already have the address. Fine. Hey, Leah, don't go back tonight. Come with me to deliver something to Jude." She said this while pulling me into a car. I watched helplessly as Tiana, muttering nonsense, was helped into another car heading in the opposite direction. What should I do? My thoughts were still chaotic. Sitting in the back seat, I stared blankly at my phone, unsure what to do. Weird. Why are you asking me to go to your place? Seeing Ethan's message, I was so agitated I nearly threw my phone for the first time. Asked Donnie had just typed that one character when my phone was effortlessly taken by the person beside me. "Who's this, Ethan?" Mia raised an eyebrow, scrolling up. I breathed a sigh of relief. Rejoice I'd cleared my WeChat messages the previous night. Otherwise, if she saw those messy memes, I'd definitely be in trouble. She glanced at me, typed a line, and put my phone in her bag. Confiscated for now. I'll return it later. My heart, which had just settled, leapt into my throat again. Even though the security at Tiana's and my complex is excellent, I'd never had such a treacherous journey just to get home, sneaking away from Mia. While wearing a mask, I finally managed to hail a taxi in the middle of nowhere. Anxiously rushed back to the city. Struggled to find some cash to pay the fare, but when I reached the complex entrance, I remembered I usually use my phone's NFC to enter. With no phone or ID, I spent a full half-hour sweet-talking a familiar security guard before he let me in. I almost knelt and begged, but he was still tangled about whether I was an imposter. Makeup skills are so good these days. How do I know you're the real one? So, by the time I finally, breathlessly made it back to the apartment, I was exhausted beyond recognition, leaning against the door, panting, and banging on it. Bang, bang, bang. Unfortunately, the incredibly long journey had given me ample room for imagination. Regardless of the actual situation, I'd already mentally constructed a full-blown R-rated short film. Leah, your dear best friend is currently drunk out of her mind. What kind of convulsions are you having now? Ethan opened the door unhurriedly, his elegant composure a stark contrast to my panting, tongue-out state. Where is she? He held a wine glass from who knows where, raised an eyebrow, slightly turned to let me in. I was so frantic I nearly pounced on him. He caught me by the waist with a light tug, deftly avoiding a collision. But when I finally saw the little ancestors I'd been worried about all the way, I was dumbfounded. Ethan, let me tell you, Leah acts tough, but back then it was pure insecurity. She really couldn't bear to let you go. Ha 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 ha. She raised her empty glass, face flushed, speaking earnestly, then waved at me. You're here? The clown was actually me. Got to admit, drunk people are really loud. Ethan and I made eye contact. Tiana's unscrupulous magic sounded in our ears, embarrassingly wanting to die on the spot. Ethan coughed, looked down, but the tips of his ears were slightly red. I've been a bit under the weather lately. Hearing's not great. Drunk people talk nonsense, nothing worth listening to. Ha 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 ha. We both turned away, wanting to escape quickly, but each harbors their own evil intentions. Accidentally bumped into each other. Again, our eyes met once more. I scratched my ear. I was just worried about her. Mia said you were fueling rumors, and she'd been drinking. You mean you were afraid I'd do something? His eyebrow arched, his eyes full of looking for a fight. He turned, his eyes fixed on me, the immense sense of oppression making me wish I could vanish immediately. I tried to slip away, but he grabbed my wrist, pulling me inside. The top of my head hit his chin, bringing tears to my eyes from the pain. Ethan clearly didn't expect this either. Slightly stunned, reached out to rub my sore head, but I gave him a knuckle tap. What's your problem? Before he could say anything, I turned and fled, hoisted the drunk Tiana onto my shoulder, and disappeared into the room after struggling to settle. Her in bed, she kept muttering with her eyes closed. That idiot Ethan has nothing better to do than ask me about you every day, and told me not to say anything. God, all right, stop talking. A complex feeling rose in my heart, but I couldn't bear to dwell on it, focusing on how to get her settled. Only when she finally fell asleep peacefully and started snoring did I relax, gently closed the door, and went out. I couldn't find you earlier, so I just helped look after her. As soon as I entered the living room, the dim lighting made it hard to see clearly. If he hadn't spoken, I wouldn't have noticed someone on the sofa. Thank you. Caught off guard, I could only reply cautiously, remembering the paparazzi issue. I tentatively start speaking, not sure if there might be people watching outside now. So maybe okay. His quick agreement seemed clearly not without premeditation. I felt tricked but didn't dare kick him out now. So I just rolled my eyes and went to tidy up the guest room. Meanwhile, this young master, whose status had skyrocketed, leaned against the doorframe, observing with an air of detachment. But the CP rumors still need to happen. This out-of-the-blue statement made me, who was making the bed, shudder. Oh, there might be others in the future. MHMM. After a moment of silence, he added, who knows, maybe one day it'll be real. I sighed, turned around, forced the fakest smile. Sure thing, wish you a successful career. Honestly, if I hadn't seen it myself, I'd never have imagined someone's face could fall so dramatically. Try to solve any issues yourself. Good night. After patting his shoulder, I quickly made my escape, not daring to look at his expression again. Only when I returned to my room did I finally let out a long sigh. Then, as if defending against myself, locked the door. Normally, after such a day, I should have fallen asleep immediately, but I had insomnia. After tossing and turning in bed for a long time, I irritably got up, wrestled with my thoughts, then turned on my computer and found the folder labeled absolutely must not open. But this folder, which always had a protesting too much vibe, now seemed even more enchanted, silently calling, come on, take a look, just one look, it's fine. But that one glance shattered my composure. The folder contained almost all the memories from that year with Ethan. From phone selfies and candid shots to specifically taken portraits. From songs he wrote for me to letters I wrote him. Even every social media post showing off and screenshots of chat records. Chocolate. How have you been lately? Opening a letter he sent me when I was away filming a short. Seeing the salutation made my old face blush. If this stuff got out, wouldn't Ethan's career be over? I thought with a bitter smile, but the sole purpose of me keeping these was for my own comfort. To remember the simple love I had when I could still be natural and unrestrained, capricious. And to find a spiritual anchor when I saw Ethan so in high spirits and full of enthusiasm. The truth I never wanted to admit was laid bare by Tiana so directly today, making me realize I could no longer escape the obvious fact I never truly let go. The so-called turning the page was just a lie I told myself. Back when we were together, we were evenly matched. At the same height, each with promising futures. But after I realized my acting career was completely cut off, it became clearer day by day. There was no future for us. Even though we were in the throes of passion then, the last shred of my pride wouldn't allow me to tell him about my predicament directly. Nor did I want to wait for him to find out later and patronizingly say it doesn't matter. So, I deliberately acted utterly natural and unrestrained. Send that cringy, idiotic breakup message, no feelings left, let's part on good terms. See you never in this world, and cut off all contact cleanly, even later. When the campus was abuzz with theories about our sudden breakup, many pointing fingers at me, the once arrogant peacock, neither of us ever said a word in defense. Now, the hotter Ethan became, the more those unavoidable news reports constantly reminded me of a huge chasm between us. I sighed deeply, just as I was about to shut down and sleep. A new email popped up, thought about it, if you're willing. I'm absolutely confident I can make you a star no less famous than Ethan. Seeing the 3 letters Ethan, it was as if my deepest secret had been seen through. All my other defenses seemed to instantly become meaningless. My heartbeat grew heavy, leaning back in my chair, facing this concise line on the screen. I grew increasingly restless. Leah, I know you're awake. A sudden knock on the door made me jump. What do you want? I tried to make my voice sound groggy. I waited a moment, but Ethan didn't answer. I had to get up and open the door. I've been pretending for so long, and you can't even manage to be jealous? His deep, bottomless eyes were now close at hand. His breath carried a faint scent of alcohol. His cheeks slightly flushed. I tried to play dumb like before, but when I opened my mouth, I was too flustered to concoct a single word. Leah, I've missed you, so much. He stepped forward and hugged me. His low voice sounded in my ear. I instantly flushed from head to toe. My mind filled only with his voice, warmth, and scent. My heart raced as if about to explode. My breathing becoming rapid. I reached out my hands, hesitating, unsure whether to respond. I don't care what the media or paparazzi say. I'm not afraid of losing fans if it goes public. Career matters depend on skill and fate. But I care about you. That hasn't changed. He paused, then added, I'll do my best to protect you all. It absolutely can't be like this. I gritted my teeth, then struggled forcefully out of his embrace. Looking into his eyes, I steadied myself. And later, just because we can't control our feelings now, I'm supposed to live in your shadow for the rest of my life. His eyes showed hurt, staring at me, making it almost impossible for me to maintain my surface calm, Ethan. Your path has been smooth. You've never experienced everything you have disappearing in an instant. I turned away, hardening my heart before closing the door. I can't climb your high branch. Grow up. With that, I cleanly shut the door in his face, deliberately making the lock click loudly. After doing all that, I felt as if all my strength had been drained. My steps back to the computer were unsteady. Am I destined to grow further apart from them? Can I only be a dispensable assistant by Tiana's side? Thinking of my past glory, my heart ached with sore and astringent. Turning back to see the sentence on the computer, I fell silent again. All right, let me find out more. Waking up the next morning, the large apartment was as usual, as if nothing had happened. Tiana got up, rubbing her head, poured us each a glass of lemon water, muttering, "Why is the room so tidy today?" Actually, Ethan had already vanished without a trace, but clearly played the role of Tianluo Gunyang, a helpful spirit before leaving, making me feel even worse. No schedule today. Rest up. We have things to do in a few days. Holding my water glass, I tried to sound normal. Thankfully, she's naturally scatterbrained and didn't notice my abnormality at all. Okay, I'll memorize some more words, so I don't get picked on later after breakfast. I made an excuse to go out, following the agreement to a very discreet private cafe far from home. Without my phone, I had to ask for directions extensively, nearly making me late. But what truly surprised me was the person sitting across from me, Mia. She smiled as if everything was under her control, took my phone out of her bag, placed it on the table, and leisurely pulled out a book, not mentioning the email at all. For a boss like her who reveals little, it's natural to appear calm and collected. Not showing her cards, the less she says, the harder it is for the other party to gauge her strategy. Fortunately, after helping Tiana handle various relationships, I learned a bit about the ways of industry bigwigs. So, I glanced around, then boredly picked up a small spoon and started stirring my coffee in circles. By the time I'd almost get rid of the entire cup of coffee, Mia laughed again, put down her book. Not bad. I sure enough didn't misjudge you. I put down my sore hand, widened my eyes, tilted my head. Mia, what do you mean? Tiana has good looks and works hard, but the sweet, naive persona is outdated. Comparatively, I have higher hopes for you. She smiled gently, but I couldn't help feeling a sinking feeling in my heart. Tiana is serious and dedicated, but in her eyes, that makes her sweet and naive. So what does she want me to do? Climb to success by stepping on my best friend? I pursed my lips, lowered my head to look at the coffee, hiding my inner thoughts. Mia, you know, I've been blacklisted because of what happened before. A little girl like you. Do you really think one weak punch could have any real impact? That's just a story to scare you youngsters. As I was thinking of other reasons to refuse, she leaned closer, lowered her voice. Besides, don't you want to be on equal footing with Ethan? In a place you couldn't see. I tightened my grip on the voice recorder. Little girl, being a big star isn't just about passion and sisterly devotion. She stood up, waved at the barista, slung her bag over her shoulder, and left. When I came to my senses, I realized a stack of contracts was left on the table. Although the previous drunk paparazzi plan didn't succeed, Mia continued tirelessly promoting the sweet orange feed afterwards. However, the actual results fell short of her expectations. By more than a little. Tiana, smile a bit sweeter at him. Put a little sparkle in your eyes. Is it the heart? Your university classmates. How can you have zero tacit understanding? Yi-Chang, you too, at least try to pretend a little. From the drama wrapping up to now, with 5 episodes aired, the on-screen CP was enjoyable. But no matter how much the company bought viping up on trending searches, the heat didn't extend off-screen at all. Even under marketing posts about the sweet orange CP, comments were overwhelmingly negative. One comment in particular went viral. The 2 new actors' performances are particularly spot on, but seeing their off-screen interactions gives a weird vibe, like good buddies forced into a blind date by their parents. When Tiana saw this comment, she nearly cried with excitement, gave it a like and overjoyed, then realized she'd forgotten to switch to her alt account. As for Ethan, whenever he was asked about Tiana in solo interviews, he always had this patient and gentle yet hinting ask again, I'll hit someone your tone. Known for his watertight responses, he recently seemed out of it, his IQ plummeting. When a reporter asked him, what do you like most about Tiana? An obvious fishing question, he answered without thinking, it's not Tiana that I like. Thus, the sweet orange CP marketing plan completely collapsed. Mia gave Tiana a stern talking to, leaving the latter emo for a whole evening, devouring a large tub of chocolate ice cream. But unfortunately, the next TV drama they'd already signed for as a pair couldn't be cancelled. Our whole group of acquaintances and Explicable found ourselves on set again. Apart from the script, costumes, and sets being different, almost nothing had changed. Even the director was the same. Mia, come here. A week after filming started, the director suddenly called my name. I was startled and instinctively looked at Mia. What does this mean? I haven't signed the contract yet. Is she already planning to give me a role in Tiana's drama? But judging by her expression, she didn't seem to know about this. You're familiar with the female lead scenes, right? I hurriedly nodded. I have to leave for a bit. Keep an eye on the next 5 minutes of footage for me. I was directly stunned and frozen place. Based solely on my earlier outspokenness, she dared to let a mere assistant do an assistant director's job. Our artist always this casual, under everyone's watchful eyes. I had to brace myself and take over, putting on the headphones and cautiously sitting on the edge of the chair in front of the monitor. As for the director's leave for a bit and 5 minutes of footage, it turned out to be complete nonsense. She disappeared the entire afternoon. By the time filming wrapped, and I was slumped in the chair, exhausted, she appeared behind me holding a thermos. Studied this before? I nodded, then hesitated, and shook my head. Not bad talent. Follow me and learn. For a few years, you could achieve something. I looked up surprisingly. She handed me her business card. I wouldn't change my mind just because someone said a few nice words. I'm not promising anything right now. The path ahead still depends on you. Although I was completely immersed in joy at that moment, hearing someone said nice words added a trace of doubt. Wasn't Mia planning for me to be an actor? Why did she suddenly change and contact the director? So, I completely confused in the master. Thank you, heavens, for this gift. In the following period, the director often called me to observe. I prepared a notebook and recorder, reviewing everything again after returning home. In a month, I'd gained a wealth of knowledge. But one day after work, Mia called me in. You've had that contract for so long without a reply. Do you think my time is as expendable as yours? Her blunt, without any courtesy opening remark caught me completely off guard. Wasn't it her who arranged for me to learn from the director? I was about to explain, but she waved her hand impatiently, cutting me off. I don't plan to keep managing Tiana. As for you, the wise man adapts to circumstances. Meeting me's your luck. Don't make me use extreme measures. With that, she schematiced me to leave. As soon as I stepped out, I ran into Ethan finishing work, watching him from afar, surrounded by a large entourage of assistants, agents, etc. His face showed fatigue, but he maintained a proper, slight smile, patiently listening to the subsequent work arrangements. As an unknown ordinary person, you don't qualify to stand by his side. A text from me arrived timely on my phone. I looked at that retreating figure, took a deep breath, and turned to leave. Just then, a message popped up in his WeChat chat. A link to Akira Kurosawa's biography. Asterisk, why randomly share a legendary director's bio? I tried to look for him again, but he was already gone. But lately, one confusing thing after another happened before I could figure this one out. My suddenly exploding Weibo account plunged me into the whirlpool again. My identity as Tiana's assistant was suddenly exposed within hours. Thousands of people flooded my Weibo DMs, asking all sorts of questions about our interactions, Tiana's personality, and unknown details. But what made me break out in a cold sweat was a comment under a casual photo I posted 3 minutes ago. I really want to know how you injure your ex and your best friend fueling rumors. I deleted it quickly and tried to check the commenter's profile to figure out who they were. But a blank avatar, randomly generated nickname, and only one post reminded me this exposure wasn't a coincidence. It might even be deliberate by someone in the industry. Who is he? Targeting Tiana or me? Even though I kept making excuses to procrastination responding to Mia, I discovered one day that she was already interviewing new people. Tiana, the idiot, was completely unaware, just poking me with a purely spectator attitude. Is that pretty girl just now Mia's relative? Having a best friend whose IQ is entirely used to subsidize her emotional quotient. I'm really at a loss. Well tangled how to break the news to her gently. A voice from behind made me jump. She's looking for someone to replace you. How do you know? I blurted out. He lowered his head, deliberately avoiding my gaze. But this time, even someone as silly as Tiana realized the severity of the situation. I'll go talk to her. No. Ethan and I reached out to stop her simultaneously, our hands accidentally overlapping. We looked at each other and quickly pulled back as if burned. I've heard many management companies do this. They sign multiple artists at once, then quickly shift resources to others if they see no hope, even making a profit from termination fee if the artist wants to leave. Ethan spoke very calmly. After finishing, seeing us both staring intently at him, he lowered his gaze and explained, I'm here to shoot a magazine cover. I treated her like a real sister, and she does this to me. Seeing her a look of righteous indignation, a complex emotion suddenly surged in my heart. If she found out Mia's first choice was to replace her with me, what would she think? As she spoke, her eyes reddened and tears streamed down. Before I could comfort her, she turned and left. Let her calm down and think of a strategy by herself. Now alone with him, I suddenly remembered I'd nearly slipped up earlier. I opened my mouth, wanting to explain, but looking up into Ethan's eyes, I was suddenly speechless. No need to explain to me. Those few words felt like a heavy blow to my heart. Maybe my expression changed visibly. Ethan was momentarily stunned, then reached out and gave my shoulder a light squeeze, his tone carrying a hint of helpless. I trust you. Much later, I deeply regretted not learning to be harder-hearted. Otherwise, I wouldn't have instantly let my guard down because of such a simple sentence from Ethan and inexplicable. Let him lure me to a bar near the company. Of course, he thought. Well played. If the previous dinner was work-related, this time, facing the old flame I still found hard to forget, I let go of my long-held composure. After a few drinks, I was crying uncontrollably. I didn't want to break up with you. If my future wasn't completely ruined, who would want this? Woo-woo-woo. Haven't I thought about the future? I'd love to star in big films, get rich, and keep you as my toy boy, woo-woo. And Tiana, that pig brain. She needs me to look after her too. It turned out all the symptoms I previously disliked Tiana for when drunk manifested fully in me. However, I unconsciously spilling everything, drifted off to sleep, completely unaware the other person had taken it all to heart. Early the next morning, half asleep, scrolling through Hot Search, one trend jolted me awake. Hashtag Ethan meets unknown woman at night. It was a photo of Ethan and me at the bar the night before. In the photo, I had my eyes closed, leaning on his shoulder. If you didn't look closely, the tear stains weren't very clear. Any marketing account could interpret it as unconscious. And my worst fear came true. A few gossip marketing accounts appeared out of nowhere, adding chat screenshots, claiming to be my university classmates, and even produced photos of Ethan and me holding hands. With the headline, Ethan, as industry girlfriend. Tiana wasn't awake yet. I stared at the photos in silence for a long time, then made a call. Things have already reached this point. With so much solid evidence. Denying it is almost impossible. Otherwise, think about the impact it would have on him. Even at this critical juncture, Mia remained calm enough to earn my admiration, sitting in her office. She leisurely blew a smoke ring. You youngsters are always so impulsive. It felt like an eternity. I lowered my head, bit my lip, closed my eyes, and said in a deep voice, Mia, as long as Tiana and Ethan aren't affected, I'll follow your arrangements. The wise man adapts to circumstances. The current heat is just right. Only then did she smile, tapped her cigarette ash, and pulled a stack of papers from her desk drawer. This time, don't keep me waiting. I stepped forward and picked up the contract and pen. Don't forget, I'm a famously renowned agent in the industry. If you follow me, fame and fortune are guaranteed. We have a win-win relationship. But how would she treat Tiana? Replace her with me, using a trip to the restroom as an excuse. I planned to call Tiana no matter what. But as soon as I stepped out, I saw Ethan waiting at the door. You're not stupid enough to not see she set this up on purpose yesterday, are you? I was taken aback. To force me to sign the contract. She'd even risk Tiana's reputation as a homewrecker and throw Ethan under the bus too? I thought she and Ethan's agent were such good friends. I bit my lip and opened the recent promotional post on Weibo. This photo, Ethan's words woke me up. Those weren't university classmates. They were photos Tiana took with my phone back then, originally stored untouched in a folder on my computer, with no other backups. He frowned, looked closely for a long time, then suddenly looked up at me. "You've been keeping these all along?" I was about to explain when he suddenly gave a light laugh, reached out, and ruffled my hair. Someone's always been tough talking, but it seems there's still quite a bit lingering in their heart. I don't. When I woke up this morning, I clearly remembered everything that happened the previous night. So I long lost the confidence to flatly deny everything. Even my own heart had already wavered. Tiana has no idea, and there's no need to leak these photos. I awkwardly changed the subject, but my cheeks felt warm. Ethan gave me a meaningful look, deliberately nodded, then followed my lead. "You don't even have a password on your computer." It was probably hacked, asked sure enough. But with this confirmation that it was all Mia's doing, I lost any desire to compromise with her. After a moment of thought, I suddenly looked up at Ethan, my gaze changing. "Your agent, does she need a good-looking, sweet-butt dumb type?" After this incident, I realized how much I'd underestimated Mia before and overestimated the plastic friendship between the two brokers. After all the trust I placed in her, she wanted to screw over our Ethan. Hearing this form of address, Ethan coughed awkwardly. Quinn came out from behind her desk, took my hand. "Little sister, don't worry about Tiana. She can't develop properly with Mia. I know the best path for her with that." She raised an eyebrow, pointing at a Cindy Wong poster on the wall. "What do you mean sweet, innocent type is outdated? Who doesn't love a sweet girl?" I felt a lump in my throat. Why didn't I think of that? As for Ethan, Quinn sighed, patted his shoulder. "You're a man. Be more proactive. How many times have I told you your reserved but passionate needs limits? Aren't you afraid of the fans? It's already exposed. Can I stop it?" She spread her hands as if with helplessnessly, but her expression seemed quite relaxed. She took my hand again, patting the back of it. "You need to strive to. Fans love CPs where both parties are equally matched and advancing together." Noticing my surprised expression, she gave Ethan a light punch on the chest. "You didn't tell her?" After a look that screamed be anxious for SB to improve or succeed, she shook her head, TSKing, and left her office. Ethan gave a light laugh. "Don't let her careless and casual act fool you. She's not done with Mia yet." He was right. In just a few days, all sorts of dirt on Mia appealing artists. Accepting bribes were exposed in one go. Weibo was calm, but the industry's social media was abuzz with major scandals, forcing her to eventually resign voluntarily. One piece of evidence stood out: the recording of my conversation with her at the cafe. I'd always held back from releasing it due to my relationship with Ethan, but now that the worries about future troubles was gone, those few minutes of conversation became the final straw that broke Mia. But the thing is, the voice recorder was just lying on the table. I didn't think to use it. When we gathered at mine Tiana's place again, our situations and mindsets had changed quite a bit compared to before. Asked her, who would have thought it had only been a few months? Now, my relationship with Ethan was out in the open, as expected. He lost a wave of girlfriend fans, but accidentally gained some favorable impression from passers-by for being responsible. As for my repeated protests of haven't agreed to get back together yet, he ignored them 70 to 80%. In short, ignoring the Weibo I hadn't dared to look at for a long time. We could now at least walk side by side openly under the sun. Tiana swallowed, took a big bite of the bread in her hand. Since cutting ties with Mia, the most notable change in this girl was that no one controlled her sweet intake. So she let herself go even more. In that regard, I actually felt a tiny bit of regret. I silently snatched the bread from her hand. I did it. She licked the cream off her fingers, her innocent eyes darting between me and Ethan. What? Should I just let her bully us? We looked at each other. Silently exclamation. This girl finally grew a bit of a brain dot at this point. It seemed like everything had settled. Tiana signed with an agent more suitable her. Soon, she'd be on set again, playing the overseas returnee lead she'd been looking forward to. Ethan was still a popular star, though he'd occasionally deflect questions about his relationship during interviews. Only I, as an assistant, could no longer remain obscure. And regarding my relationship with Ethan, I was still avoiding it. But life couldn't just drift on awkwardly like this. "Leah, I have an opportunity for a commercial. Want to give it a try?" After I sighed by the window for the umpteenth time, my master called. And of course, master. "What role?" She laughed. "Director." That day is destined to be one of the most unforgettable in my life, although it was just a simple chocolate commercial. When the crew patted my shoulder on wrap day and said, "Congratulations, Leah," my ego still soared to the sky. As a female lead, Tiana spent half an hour sweet-talking the brand, scoring several boxes of chocolate for free. Her eyes shone with an undeniable light as she directed people to load them into the car, while her agent could only hold his forehead in helplessness. She's going to gain weight again. I sat alone by the monitor, smiling wistfully, reminiscing about everything that had happened recently, when someone covered my eyes from behind. "Ethan," I sighed, turned to look at him. He leaned in slightly with a somewhat ambiguous expression, whispering in my ear, "When will Leah make a movie? Can the lead role be internally decided? There are so many people around. Save it for later." I blushed, turned my head away. and gave him a light shove. But he caught my hand, kissed it, and I mustered the courage to tease him back. Unless you're open to behind-the-scenes arrangements, fine. I felt my body suddenly go weightless as he scooped me up in his arms. Instinctively, I wrapped my arms around his neck, flushing from the tips of my ears down to my neck. "You'd better walk steadily." He smiled, kissed a corner of my mouth, and though he didn't answer, I didn't mind. In this complex general environment, where the next step leads is still unknown, the only thing certain is my own dreams and the original aspiration I started with. I once thought I'd lost everything overnight, that I was bad luck has hit rock bottom. But now I realize the people who stay by my side, never leaving nor abandoning me, are my greatest luck. Be it friendship or love, they help me find myself again.